Welcome, everyone. Meeting to order.
Mayor, your microphone turned off.
Okay, welcome, everyone. I'm going to call this November 9th meeting to order. If Councilmember Jane Lopez Taft would lead us in the flag salute, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have the next item, please?
Next item is the roll call. Councilmember Karpinski Costa.
Present.
Councilmember Lopez Taft.
Here.
Councilmember Middleton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Daniels.
Here.
And Mayor Schaefer.
Here. Next item, please.
Next item, this meeting of the Citrus Heights City Council is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and live streamed at citrusheights.net. Tonight's meeting replays on Monday, November 13th at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. The meeting can also be viewed at the city's YouTube channel.
Thank you. May I have the next item, please?
Next item is approval of agenda.
So before I ask for approval of the agenda, I'm going to swap item 5. I'm going to read item 5 in front of item 4. With that, may I have approval of agenda, please?
Move approval.
Second.
Approval by Middleton, second by Taft. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Next item, please.
Next item is public comment. If you wish to address the council during the meeting, please fill out a speaker identification sheet and give it to myself, the city clerk. When you're called upon to speak, step forward to the podium and state your name for the record. Normally, speakers are limited to 5 minutes each, with 30 minutes being allowed for all comments. The mayor has the discretion to lengthen or shorten the allotted times. And I do have 2 written public comment that I'll read.
Okay,
Well.
take the person who's present first, and that would be Andreas Kezos. Please come to the podium.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Forgive me if I'm, good.
Can I just, really quickly here, just want to let you know that we're a very friendly group, but we're not permitted to engage in a conversation with you at this time.
What does, I'm sorry?
We're not permitted to engage in a conversation.
That's fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. Forgive me if I'm a little bit upset,
Okay,
and I have some injuries sustained by some broken sidewalks in Citrus Heights. My wife just had 12 and a half hour surgery. She has 12 bolts, metal plates on her left arm. She's a concert pianist. She will never use the arm again. For 5 years, I've been fighting with one of your departments, and there are a lot of issues that you guys need to look into it. I have sustained, I'm going for surgery next week for my arm. I have a broken jaw because those sidewalks, I was thrown off my scooter, and I'm not a little guy, I'm a pretty good guy, and it's hard to stop falling down. Anyway, my next door neighbor, do you hear injuries of the sidewalk? One of my best friends from high school sustained head injuries, broken arm, broken knee. She got an aneurysm, a blood clot due to the injury, and she passed away. Another great neighbor and friend, elderly lady, nearly across the street from my home. I reside at 6004 Westbrook Drive, near the corner of Halifax, Westbrook, and Auburn Boulevard. They call it the Indian River, I believe. I fought to become a city for many, many years. I worked here before you guys were around as a city. I'm glad the gentleman there became vice mayor and got elected to the board. He used to put his campaign signs on my front yard. Anyway, the lady across the street almost tripped on a broken sidewalk that I had complained for years. Broken knee, arm, face, and nose. Because of our friendships, I kind of discouraged them for getting an attorney and going after, whoever they wanted to. And thank God, I know you guys short-handed of everything. Everybody just, took the insurance and they were taken care. So you guys were. But this problem is going to get so ugly and there are going to be so many people. My street is a horseshoe. And, the Citrus Heights is an old city. We have a lot of great trees. And the roots go underneath the sidewalks and the break. They just shift. In the evening, my street is like a dark hole because all the light poles, they're not working. I complain to the SMUD, it says, tell your city. I'm telling you, please do something with that. My concern is about 2 employees. I don't want to cause any harm. I don't want you guys firing them, but I would like to see them transferred to different positions because I think both of them are incompetent. If there was, I'm the son of a hero. My dad was in the United States Air Force. I was born overseas. My mom was Greek, so I have a very different name. My name, Andreas, is not very common. So when I spoke to this guy, Armando, which is in charge of the sidewalk repairs, he thought I was talking to a Mexican, and it's just disrespectful. He just kept, just putting me down. If he only knew who I am. If he only knew what I've done in my life. I'm almost 80 years old. I arrested judges. I arrested congressmen. I arrested more people than people can imagine. And for this guy to talk like that, he was like, well, I'm better than you. I'm above you. I do what I want because I work for the city of Citrus Heights. My mom, my dad, my brother, all buried at Sylvan Cemetery. This city I love. And I fought very hard to make it a city. It's a great city, but I don't know how those people get hired. The guy that's in charge of the concrete, his name is Armando. And the lady that's his boss is the most, I'm gonna try to be nice. She never tells the truth. She promises you something, nothing happens. Until I fell another day, last week, they finally came over. I'm sorry.
It's okay if you could.
Is that me or you?
Yeah, that's your time is about up, sir.
Okay, I'll be just brief, a couple more minutes.
All right.
They came over and put some white marks on it, so somebody's gonna come and repair the thing. Never happened. It's been marked for, I think, 3 weeks. Nothing. But they spent a ton of money, and I would like someone to answer to me how much the city of Citrus Heights spends hiring an outside agency to repair something they can do themselves. And it's only a machine, and I used to own a business, in concrete business. that it costs $1,900, and you can repair any sidewalk on the planet. And I'd like to know how much money spent on outside agencies to repair our city when we can do ourselves and save a lot of money. Please. This lady's name is Regina Cave. And I believe with all my heart, let me tell you, for somebody else, and you guys take a look at my wife's scar that goes from here to there with 12 bolts in place, this meeting would have been very ugly, believe me. But I love my city, and I love my wife. And for the pain she has gone through, my next door neighbor dying, my across the street neighbor injured, it's about time you guys do some changes in your personnel. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for listening to me.
Take care.
You
All
guys have a
right,
blessed
so we
week.
have additional comments, Amy?
Yes, so we have two written comments, so I will go ahead and read those now.
Yes.
The first one was submitted by Rick Hodgkins. He states, "Back on August 10th of this year, if you recall, I submitted public comment on matters not on the agenda, not knowing how to comment on any other item on the agenda. As we continue to discuss sidewalk and street improvements, not only do we need more lighting on residential streets, as other residents have stated, but that we also need to make our stoplights accessible for the blind. For example, instead of using beeps or chirps, the best way to make it even more accessible is to implement a talking signal that can say something like, 'Wait to cross Sunrise Boulevard at Antelope Road.' I can no longer see oncoming or parallel traffic." And then the next speaker sheet is also from Rick Hodgkins. It was regarding agenda item number 9, which is on the consent calendar. And he states, it's regarding the intrusive, the panhandling ordinance. And he states, "This is not a ghetto. Please, whatever you do, please prevent intrusive panhandling." And that concludes the written public comment.
Great, thank you so much. May I have the next item, please?
Next item is presentation number 5, a presentation by REACH, recognition of Good Neighbor Day Award recipient.
Okay, great. Thank you, Natalie. Right on top of it.
Hello, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilwomen, staff, and neighbors. I am extremely excited to be here tonight to present Good Neighbor Recognition. Again, I want to thank you for signing the proclamation recognizing Citrus Heights Good Neighbor Week from September 28th to October 4th. And I want to remind that in that week, there was over 760 acts of neighboring done. Great job, Citrus Heights. The Citrus Heights Good Neighbor Award, however, was for nominations on a neighbor's activities throughout the year or the years, not just during this week. And tonight, I would like to bring up our top nominees for recognition, and then we are going to announce the winner of the 2023 Citrus Heights Good Neighbor Award. I just want to make sure are Michael and Deborah Gardner in the audience? Okay. Candidate C. This neighbor is generous with their time and contributes to the success of many community events. They have served as a neighborhood president and helped other areas become active again by sharing their meetings and their resources. Even when stepping back from chairing events, this neighbor stepped up to support new REACH board members and ensure overall group success. This neighbor helps with their neighborhood by keeping their neighbors informed and connected while taking care of the local schools. They bring project ideas and use connections such as their church and NA to meet the needs of residents. Through the years, this neighbor has served hundreds of Citrus Heights residents. I would like to recognize Ruth Fox as our top nominee for 2023. And now I'm going to make you stand awkwardly at the front. This is for you.
So before we, okay, great, thank you. Any comments for
Let's wait
Ruth?
till she finishes.
What's that?
Let's wait till she finishes.
Wait till the end? Okay, great.
All right. Now, candidate B. This neighbor is called Grandma by all the neighborhood children. This neighbor has earned this title because they always have fresh baked goodies to share with the neighbors and treats for kids. They ensure their freezer is full of ice cream during the heat of the summer so that kids can cool off. They visit with all who stop to chat, and inevitably, the chatter does not leave empty-handed. They provide a bucket of sidewalk chalk and always sport the best decorated yard on the block. They are the best neighbor I've ever known. They truly care about people. I have 4 canning jars to return to them, and I won't be coming back without something from their never-ending labor of love. Their acts of neighboring improve the quality of life for roughly 25 people year-round. I would like to recognize Donna Stevens as a top nominee for the Citrus Heights Good Neighbor Award. Thank you for being a good neighbor. Now go stand awkwardly. All right, one more, folks. Candidate A. This neighbor has been a Citrus Heights resident for many years. They should win the Citrus Heights Good Neighbor Award because they help look out for the children in Citrus Heights. They have spent countless hours making 100 quilts every year for over a decade. They then donate these quilts to the Citrus Heights Police Department, who use them if a child is involved in an accident or other traumatic situation. Their act of neighboring serves 100 children annually. I would like to recognize Lottie Reed as a top nominee for the Citrus Heights Good Neighbor Award. Thank you for being a good neighbor.
Thank you.
I won't make you stand for long, Miss Reed. You just go right over
I
there.
can stand okay. It's just getting up and down is hard. When you get my age, it's really a chore.
Can I share your age? She didn't hear me. I'll wait. All right. With that, I would like to invite Mayor Tim Schaefer to please come down and swap a certificate for what's in your hand.
It's indeed my pleasure to award Lottie Reed as the Good Neighbor of the Year. Thank you so much. And I would certainly like to invite my council members to comment on what a great program this is, and it was just a pleasure to read all of the deeds that you guys have done. And really appreciate that very much. So, there you are. Can we have a picture?
A picture of the two, and we're going to invite everybody in. Ladies, please join for the photograph. Folks, we're going to have a group photo. Mhm. Show off your certificates. Thank you so much.
It really is a pleasure to do those kinds of awards, especially in front of so many young people that really can see how much their community appreciates all the hard work that they put in volunteering. So with that, I'll move on to the next item, please.
Next item is presentation number 4, proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights honoring the Mesa Verde High School girls flag football team.
Gotta hand it off. It's like football, you gotta hand it off.
Oh, I see, okay. Vice Mayor Daniels, would you do the honor of reading the proclamation to honor the,
It's his last
Mesa
meeting
Verde.
as mayor.
yes, it is my last
He's
meeting as
just about
mayor.
right there, he's just about ready to go.
Yeah,
So I would like to invite Mesa Verde High School Athletic Director Travis Miller to come to the podium to accept this proclamation. And I'm going to read the proclamation, and then I'm going to have Coach read off all the names, and then we'll all come up and get a nice picture and do all that fun stuff. So for the proclamation, whereas the Mesa Verde High School girls flag football team was established in fall 2023 and its inaugural season had a roster comprised of 15 dedicated athletes. And whereas the flag football team ranked 5th in the Golden Empire League and had an overall scoring record of 8-9 and a league record of 7-7. And whereas the flag football team was successfully supported by coaches Travis Miller and Casey Ramirez and team manager Darren Smith. And whereas team member Michaela Shamara was named the Golden Empire's most valuable player. Where is she? Go ahead and stand up. Nice. Team member Jaden Alexander was named All-League, and team members Joey McGuire and Skyla Panucci made second-team All-League. And whereas the players' passion and perseverance for the sport is reflected in their countless hours of practice with the support of their families cheering from the bleachers, and whereas the Mesa Verde athletics program commemorates their student athletes with the motto, "Once a Maverick, always a Maverick," now therefore it be resolved that the City Council of the City of Citrus Heights does hereby congratulate the Mesa Verde High School girls flag football team on their first ever season and extend best wishes for their future endeavors. And I'm going to come on down, and while I'm doing that, Coach, if you want to say a few words, and then we'll have the players come up.
I'll just say this, there is great things happening in Citrus Heights, and there are wonderful things happening at Mesa Verde, and I do want to add that our team GPA was about a 3.5 in 10, yeah. 10 of our 15 athletes made academic all-league. And I'll have Heidi read the names, yeah. Thank you. Oh, sure. You can call them up, yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, Heidi, she's our energy. Can she read the names?
I'm scared.
Actually, let's make it easy. Let's read them off here.
Okay. I'm a little nervous. I don't know how to say last names.
What do you think I gave it to you for?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, same.
Okay, do I just start? Yeah? Do I just?
Be a name on there.
Okay. Darren Smith. Valerie Mendina. Skyla Panucci, sorry, French. Is that Michaela Shamar? Michaela Nichols. Don't hate me. Lizzie Garza. Joey McGuire. Jay Flecker. Janaya Alexandra. Not here. Ugh. Jaden Alexander. Ooh, this is my favorite one. Heidi Martinez. That's me. Yeah. Ooh. Emma Casaca. Elise Penucci. Ooh. Alicia Chamara. Eleni Asivas?
Just say it real fast.
Alicia Asivas. Adrian. Ariadna. Tell us. Oh, that's it. Oh. What's your last name?
This one? Oh, no. We'll pretend.
Katie Garza. Is that my job? Am I done?
Get a picture, as y'all come this way.
Look in the middle.
One more, everybody.
Now I'm in empty room.
All right, well, let's move on to the next item, please,
The next item is presentation number 6, a proclamation of the City of Citrus Heights recognizing November 14th, 2023 as National Police Records and Support Personnel Appreciation Day.
Fantastic. All right, I would like to invite Police Services Supervisors Dan Stockbridge to the podium to say a few words, along with Records Technician Christian Miller, Program Assistant Nicole Olinger, and Volunteer Michael Ergamacino to accept the proclamation, please. Okay. Go ahead and come to the podium, please. Thank you. Whereas the Citrus Heights Police Records Unit and support personnel are forward-facing agency representatives aiding community by providing exemplary customer service, and the Citrus Heights Police Records Technician regularly exercise technical expertise in ensuring the police department remains compliant with federal, state, and local statutes, ordinances, and mandates surrounding records handling and statistical reporting requirements, and the Citrus Heights Police Records Unit processes, reviews, analyzes, approves, and routes over 10,000 police reports each year and serve as the agency liaisons with allied partners throughout the region, state, and nationwide. And the Citrus Heights Police Department Police Records Unit assists over 13,000 patrons in the police department lobby and by phone and electronic communications each year. And we acknowledge and thank the Citrus Heights Police Records staff and all records professionals serving our nation for their dedication and selfless service to the community, courts, victims, and the public. And the City of Citrus Heights Police Unit and support personnel are vital to caring for the Citrus Heights community and the members of the Citrus Heights Police Department with whom they serve. Now therefore be resolved that the City of Citrus Heights does hereby proclaim November 14th, 2023 as National Police Records and Support Personnel Appreciation Day. Thank you. I'm going to come down. You guys want to come with me? Nice to meet you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, sir. Michael, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You see everybody? Come on around. There we go. You know what? Here we go. No, it's okay. Here we go. Okay,
Good evening, Mayor,
thank you.
Vice Mayor Daniels, members of the council, City Manager Feeney. My name is Dan Stockbridge. I'm the Police Services Supervisor assigned to the Records Division at the Police Department. Thank you for introducing my team. On behalf of Chief Alex Turcott, Commander Jason Russo, Manager Tiffany Campbell, I stand humbly before you this evening to accept this proclamation, recognizing this team's hard work and dedication to the Citrus Heights Police Department and the community that we serve. Throughout our nation, records and support professionals work tirelessly to facilitate the needs of all interest holders, whether it be providing support and resources to our victims, serving community members by phone and in the lobby, sharing intelligence with allied agencies, or delivering time-sensitive records to the district attorney and to the courts. To ensure lawbreakers are held accountable, the work of records is vital. As the policing industry evolves, so too does the demands on our records and support team. Legislative changes, unfunded mandates, and increasing responsibilities demand a level of technical and analytical expertise that every team member embodies. Lastly, I would be remiss not to highlight our very own volunteer, Michael Lagomarcino. Without fail, Michael works every day, Monday through Friday, and helps us more than I can even quantify here tonight. His dedication to his work and the community is evident. More than that, though, Michael's care for every member of this team is unmatched, and I wish to thank him for his service and extraordinary volunteerism.
Hear, hear.
And with that, I thank you again for this kind gesture. I thank our team for all that you do and trusting me to be your leader. And as the holiday nears, thanks to all our veterans for their service to our country. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, can I have the next item, please?
The next item is comments by council members and regional board updates.
All right, let's start with Dr. Jana Karpinski Costa.
First, I want to make a comment. And I wanted to comment on the Good Neighbor Week in Natalie. We didn't get a chance to do that before. I think I kind of thank myself for sending you to Noosa and then having you come back with the ideas, and what a great job you did in bringing those ideas back here. And, it's all in our community, and I did attend the REACH meeting last week, that Monday, that we had a lecture from the Hopeful Neighborhood Project, and it's a organization that, because we became a good neighbor city, or proclamation of a good neighbor city, we were entitled to get this training. By the way, I went to their website, and it's free you can sign up and watch those for free. And so the first one was, talked about asset mapping and finding all the great things in your community. And then there'll be 2 more sessions. And so I think, and it's wonderful. I congratulate all the people who participated, the wonderful neighbors that just emerged and got recognized. But there's so many that didn't know about it. There's a lot of other neighbors out there, good neighbors, and we'll find them all. We got a whole nother year, we'll do it again. So I wanted to thank Natalie and for putting that all together. So I did go to the Oktoberfest. The mayor and I were there at the Oktoberfest put on by the Citrus Heights Marching Band. Former Chief of Police Boyd was there, but it was not well attended. But I did manage to do a rendition of Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes to the tuba. And there was a glass of wine involved there, so this was kind of, he filmed it. It's as good as the one I got on you. Anyways, that was good. Let's see, then I had, the sewer meeting today yesterday. I just wanted to make one announcement. I have it written on my laptop here, which I thought was, the sewer district, you will be seeing an increase in the rates, a little teeny bit as we go along the year. But just to let you know, what a great job this sewer district does in putting together the mandates for cleaning up the water they throw into the river to take out the ammonia. It's called tertiary treated water because it's treated once, it's treated twice, and then it's treated a 3rd time. And so by the time it goes into the Sacramento River, it's cleaner than the water in the river. And the district is so well run. They did this big giant project in almost 10 years and under budget. So on time and under budget, which is why we didn't see the increases in the rates that we would have when Jeannie used to talk about the rates we were gonna see. We didn't see those rates because the district is so well run and shops for the best engineers and people that do the work. So we did get recognized for that job by the Sacramento Businesses Journal. They did the Best Real Estate Projects of the Year awards, and out of 24 finalists, our Echo Water Project got to the top and won the Best New Infrastructure Project. It was a $1.7 billion project. The one that's coming up next is the Harvest Water Project, where they take the treated water and set up a system and feed the South Sacramento farms with the water, so that the farmers don't have to suck the water out of the ground and bother the aquifers down there. There's going to be some habitat restoration with the water that's recycled that way. Terrific department, terrific place. I just love being there. I love seeing everybody working that way. So that was that, and got an award. I wanted to thank Regina Cave for shining up in front of the community center. The fountain that's out there was dedicated by Jack and Jean Duncan, and the other day I noticed you couldn't even read it. So now, if you go by there and you see, she polished it up with her, did she really use a can of Brasso? It looks good. It's all cleaned up. It had some corrosion from the water, stains and whatever, and you couldn't even read it. But it does say on there, dedicated, thanks for making dreams come true. So, and that's exactly what this community is about, making everybody's dreams come true. And so we try to help everybody in all the ways we can. And what else did I have? I was going to give you just a one last thing, if I find it. There wasn't much to report from our mosquito meeting because it's winter now. The bugs are gone. We send our staff to conferences. Most of them are speakers because they we have such great staff that they are the guys who present the materials to the attendees. And we clean up our machinery, we calibrate, we do all that other stuff. So we don't really have a lot of bug work. But the state report, just FYI, that the number of total West Nile cases reported, and sometimes there's a lag from the county health departments, from the doctors to the county health departments to the districts. But the total for humans this year so far is 299 humans in the state of California have contracted West Nile virus. So I think deaths are, I want to say about, was it 20 deaths? So it's a significant mosquito-borne disease. And that's, oh, one last thing. If you like tubas, there will be a Tuba Fest on December 2nd, Saturday, December 2nd, and it is free, and it is the Rush Park Auditorium from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and the musicians rehearse from 12 to noon. This is like 75 tubas from all over the region come and tuba it. So if you like tubas, or you have never been to a big giant tuba festival, this is it. We got to have the only tuba festival. This is good, Citrus Heights has a tuba festival. Anyway, I think it's great. That's my report.
Great. So, Councilwoman Portia Middleton, what have you been up to?
Okay, let's see. We'll start back on October 30th. I attended the California Housing Partnership Board meeting. We have a quarterly meeting where we talk about housing throughout the state of California and what that means to each jurisdiction. And we went over the plethora of bills that came through, and we saw where we had some really solid wins to help maintain local control when it comes to housing, and we saw where we had a couple of losses where we kind of got steamrolled. So we all saw it the governor's sign, so we are where we are, right? On November 11th, I was the judge for Miss California. It was put on by the Slavic Chamber and Russian American media. It was a fun-filled night of listening to these young women talk about their goals, passions, their dreams, and what they want to do. And we named one of the women queen, and it was a great time had by all. And we saw a lot of familiar faces out there. And switching over to my other view. On the 6th of this month, I was a panelist on the California System Innovators Network with Vice Mayor Eric Guerra and Casey Lizon from SACOG. And this was an open community discussion talking about reimagining housing in our communities and what that means. And what I learned from these folks from up and down the state of California who deal with housing either at the county level or at the state level, that we don't have enough input from our youth. We need to have more input when we're trying to build housing, when we're trying to make decisions about housing and about how we develop our communities, because these are the individuals who will be living in those spaces in the next 10 to 15 years. So I've made it a personal goal to start reaching out and talking to more of our youth about that. I talked to them about a lot of things, but I never thought to talk to them about housing projects or just like what they want their community to look like, right? I kind of assume that, I'm on TikTok, I see the things, I know stuff. We know nothing, guys. I want to let you know these kids really, they took me to task. And that's my report.
Great. So, Dr. Jane Taft, what have you been up to?
All right. I had a very fun invitation on the 31st. I spoke on youth leadership. So I too spoke with youth at the Trinity Homeschool Group. Such a great group of young leaders interested in how did I get here? What was my journey? No journey is ever straight, but it is purposeful if you make it purposeful. So that was just a delight to speak to very enthusiastic young leaders. On the 2nd, I attended the Sunrise Marketplace board meeting, and the big takeaway from that meeting was graffiti is increasing in our area, and graffiti is usually an indicator of not so great individuals thinking they're going to move into your town and mark it up or claim it by their marks. And so the cleaning team is very much on that. I actually drove around. I had noticed some graffiti and it was gone very soon after. So Kathy Lynn and her team are very much on top of that because of what it indicates. And so just so delighted to report that although it's creeping up as far as quantity, their team is looking after those things in protection of our shopping spaces. And finally, tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to celebrating Veterans Day at Sylvan Cemetery. So if you did not otherwise know about it, I would love for you to join me and others at 10:45 at the Sylvan Cemetery. Or excuse me, that's Saturday, the 11th.
Great. Vice Mayor Daniels, what have you been up to?
Thank you very much. Just a few things real quick. Attended the Sunrise Marketplace Board of Directors meeting with Jane. And again, yeah, the graffiti thing is definitely noticeable, and the effort is there to get it down. And so hopefully people will report that if they see that around that area. And that's the 1 square mile area around Sunrise Mall. Hopefully you contact the board real quick, or the Kathy Lynn, the executive director, and get it down. Today, I attended a couple of meetings. I attended the 4-agency meeting that, for I think the first time ever, included about 50 elected officials from the Sacramento Air Board, the Regional Transit Board, SMUD, and the Sacramento Council of Governments. And the main thing about that is to stress and commit towards working towards regionalism, and especially in regards to air and air quality. If you don't know this, the air doesn't just stop at the Citrus Heights city limits. So we have to make sure that our efforts to clean air are a regional effort. And it was a very nice meeting, very good meeting, and hopefully we'll see good things out of that. Also today, I attended the Sacramento Transportation Authority Board meeting, and not too much out of that. Project on I-5, I think they said, had been completed. That one cost about $374 million, and they were looking at, they were putting together another one for I-5 that I think runs from about Sacramento City to the airport, and that one's only going to be about $570 million or something like that. So lots of your money being spent on your roads in certain ways. Next up for, I believe, future events, as it was mentioned, Saturday is Veterans Day. Please get out and show your kids, especially what the day is about. It's not a day of mourning; it's a day of celebration, and be happy about it. Wish veterans, if you see them, happy Veterans Day. It recognizes the sacrifice that people who have served in the military have done to keep us free. And so, please be sure to think of that. There is a ceremony at the cemetery, at the Sylvan Cemetery at 10:45, and then there's another one at the Veterans Community Center on Sylvan at 12 p.m. Let me see, in the future, on the 14th, the Citrus Heights Chamber of Commerce will have their monthly lunch, and I mentioned this before. If you're in a business and you're not part of the chamber, you're losing out. Get involved. It's a great resource, and it can help you to expand your business and support Citrus Heights in general. Citrus Heights is a very heavy sales tax dependent city, and we need businesses to thrive. So get involved and hopefully help your business at the same time. On the 27th, Sue Frost will have her community meeting in this room, I believe, starting at, it says 5:30 on our website. I think it's 6, but show up at 5:30 anyway, and just to be safe. But please come out, hear Sue. She is coming to the end of her term. She'll serve one more year, and she's announced her retirement. She's done great things, incredible things for Citrus Heights, but the region too. But she's done some really amazing things for Citrus Heights over the year. And so come down and show her a little bit of love. And on tomorrow, am I remembering this right? Tomorrow, yeah, is the 248th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. If you see a Marine, thank him. My son is getting ready to deploy to Okinawa in a week or so, and I really couldn't be more proud of him. And then on the 18th is my wife's birthday. I won't tell you which birthday, but happy birthday, sweetie. And then the final thing I think I have is I noticed some youths out there in the audience, and I'd like you guys to all come up and go to the podium and tell us your name and where you're from and why you're here. We'll start with Lisa. Come on up, Lisa.
It's like putting you on the spot.
Yeah. And then the rest of you, come on up. Come on, don't be afraid. You can do it. You're on live TV, nothing to worry about. Some over there, come on. You can start, Lisa, go ahead.
My name is Lisa, and I'm from Bella Vista High School. It was required of us to come for our government class. So
What grade are you?
I'm a senior.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Haley Winalski. I'm also from Bella Vista High School, and I came because it was required for our government class, but also because I wanted to see what a community really feels like and what you guys do here. So, thank you.
Get the good night.
Hello. Sorry, I just got over a cold last week. My name is James Pereira. I go to Bella Vista. I'm also a senior. And I'm with my table mates in our American government class, and we all thought it would be cool if we came together to just experience this. Even though it was required, we thought it could be fun. And personally, I wanted to see how serious it was kind of taken, I wanted to see the formalities and what the atmosphere was like. And so it was really cool to just observe. So thank you.
Hope you stick around for the rest of the meeting.
No pressure.
Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm a senior at BV, Bella Vista, and I'm a 12th grader. I came here because it was required from our government class, but also I was interested to see what it was like, and it has been very interesting so far. Thank you.
Good.
Hi, I'm Shelby Nessie, and I also go to Bella Vista High School. I'm a senior, and again, it was required of our government class, but I also plan on trying to go to law school later, so I think that it would also be important for me to see how at least local governments work, so that hopefully I could do more stuff relating to that in the future.
Great.
Ryan, you might have an intern over there.
All right, hi, I'm Landon Ninen. I'm also a senior at Bella Vista High School, and I'm in the same government class as all of them. And I won't lie, I did come here because it was required, but it's actually been a lot cooler than I thought it would have been. And it's been awesome hearing about all the amazing things you guys do for our community and the people who have spoken. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Hasti Masoom, and I'm also a senior at BV, Bella Vista. I'm actually in the same class as they are. I was really expecting this meeting to be boring, but it's not. And it's actually been interesting, and I took a lot of notes. So, yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Kara Hedrick, and surprisingly, I'm here for the same reason. But yeah, it's a part of our government class, and it's been a really cool experience. Thank you.
Okay. Great. So myself, what have I been up to? I have been it's been a crazy week for me work-wise. So I really don't have much to report other than I went and spoke to a neighborhood watch group, which was really surprising. The great turnout that they had there. It was a great group of people, really enjoyed it. I did go to the Citrus Heights Marching Band Oktoberfest. That was really fun. I did shoot video of Jana dancing and singing the song. It was pretty funny. Great blackmail material. So no, it was great. And I just want to say that that the young people that took the courage, that it takes a lot of courage to come up and speak to a board that really you don't know, and it's kudos to you for stepping up and really getting comfortable with this, because this is your opportunity to tell your local government what you want. That's really what we're here for. We're here to listen to you. We're here to sort of bounce off. If you have ideas, bring them forward and say, hey, I think the community would be better with this, with a program like Natalie brought to the Good Neighbor Week. Was a phenomenal program that really does give you a sense of community. That's one of the things I love about Citrus Heights is there's a real sense of community here that I've never experienced anywhere where I've lived. And it really is phenomenal. So again, you're welcome. I do want to kind of offer this. I've spoken to the government class over at Mesa Verde a couple of times, and I certainly would encourage my council members to volunteer and go speak to a government class. And because most of the time, the schools, even the teachers don't really have a good understanding how local government works. How does local government, how does the thing that affects your life, you can look at the federal government, doesn't really affect how, what happens in your life, but it is the local government that, how the roads get paved and how what programs, what community is about. If you have issues within the community, you have somebody to come talk to and say, hey, how can you help me on this? Sometimes we can help. Sometimes we can help like in ways you wouldn't think we could. But that's what we're here for. We're really here to serve you. So thank you very much for being here. With that, I'll move on to the next item, please.
So the next item we have is consent calendar, items 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the only item that I wanted to make note is on item 8, where there were 3 options for the council's consideration, and we just asked that in any motion for the consent calendar, clarify which option you are considering.
So with that, I'm going to recommend pulling item 8. Does anybody else
I'm
want to?
pulling item 11.
Let's pull item 8 and item 11 so we can have a discussion. So on items 7, 9, and 10,
And 12, I'll move.
and 12.
I'll move those.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do I have a
Second.
So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None? The motion passes. So let's go ahead and talk about item 8, please.
So item 8 is the appointment to the Sacramento Yellow Mosquito and Vector Control District Board. And the options for filling the appointment are to reappoint Councilmember Karpinski-Costa to a term of either 2 years or 4 years, or direct staff to advertise the vacancy and accept applications for appointment.
Okay.
I'd like to move that we reappoint Councilmember Jana Karpinski-Costa for a term of 4 years.
I second that.
I just have one comment. I love her enthusiasm for this job. I really do.
Well, it's like air. The mosquitoes don't stop if the city will have it either.
If you ever need somebody to come and talk to your class or
Yeah.
your neighborhood about mosquitoes, she is a wealth of
I'm
knowledge.
happy to come to, not the government class, but one of your science classes talks about mosquitoes.
Absolutely. So, okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seeing, all those opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. Congratulations, Dr.
Thank
Peter.
you.
Okay,
I
so
serve with
now let's
enthusiasm
talk
and
about
vigor.
item 11.
Yes, I pulled item 11 because I have asked the department to give a summary of this, because I think the public would be interested in seeing this. That's why I pulled it.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Vice Mayor, distinguished members of council. I'm Investigations Lieutenant Wesley Herman with your Citrus Heights Police Department. I'm happy to be here this evening to present to you an award that we recently received from the Board of State and Community Corrections, the BSCC, a grant award that we applied for in conjunction with city staff, PD staff, and our recently contract hired Townsend Public Affairs Group. This organized retail theft grant was a statewide grant, and it was a competitive grant process with a $242 some odd million total purse. There were 31 police departments and 7 sheriff's offices in the state of California that were awarded this grant. We were one of those. There were 114 total applicants. This grant was funded at the direction of the Budget Act of 2022, and it was in response to an increase in regional organized retail crime that's affecting the state and the country, and is continuing to cripple our retailers, our law enforcement agencies, and our commercial public safety partners with theft from our businesses, making their job extremely difficult to remain open and profitable. Citrus Heights was awarded a little over $2.75 million, and that will be a 3-year grant period. This directly is in relation to one of our strategic plan objectives, which is to continue to preserve and enhance public safety. The fund uses and the goals of this grant will be to detect, prevent, and solve theft-related crime. That will be retail theft, motor vehicle theft, and motor vehicle accessory theft. We hope to achieve that with two different strategies. The first being utilizing and enhancing some technology equipment. We hope to increase and add automated license plate readers camera system throughout the major arterial roadways in the city, in and around our business corridors, both the Sunrise Marketplace as well as the Auburn Boulevard corridor. We would look to implement a live 911 technology, which will allow our officers a more timely response to crimes in progress, as well as a video wall in our dispatch center that will act as a single pane of glass to identify where all of our assets are and where our folks are at and responding from within the city. We also hope to add a few mobile trailer camera solutions to that can be moved around to identify areas that become problems during different operations or perhaps some of the road construction that's going on. We've had a few instances where that's occurred recently, and we've partnered with city staff on some solutions for that. Additionally, on the staffing front, we hope to add a full-time, real-time information center operator. That is in partnership with the Elk Grove Police Department, where they monitor camera systems, and they are looking for ways to both help our operations as well as our investigations units in identifying crime as it's occurring and helping us solve crime on the back end. We also would like to add a part-time detective position, which would be focused on retail theft. And there's funding in there as well for a grant evaluator, which is part of the grant requirement. None of this is going to affect the general fund. This is all going to be grant funded. We have a number of collaborative partnerships, both in preparation for this grant application as well as in what will be the execution of this grant application. The Citrus Heights Sunrise Marketplace has been a good partner. The Citrus Heights Chamber of Commerce. The Sacramento County District Attorney's Office, they also received grant funding and will be putting together a vertical prosecution unit that will be focused on retail theft and holding those accountable who commit theft. The Sacramento Valley California Highway Patrol is putting together a task force focused on retail theft, and we'll be partnering with them. I mentioned the Elk Grove Police Department with their real-time information center, where we have an operator co-located. And the California Retailers Association, as well as the California Organized Retail Crime Association, both of which we presented at this week in response to receiving this grant. And I will just say quickly, every year, as you're aware, we have an operation out at the Sunrise Marketplace and our Auburn Business Corridor, where we look for ways to try to further prevent and detect retail theft. As was mentioned earlier by the council, the retail business in our community is extremely important to us, and that's not lost on us in the police department. So for the next 6 weeks or so, leading through the holidays, we will have an increased patrol, traffic, and our impact detective teams responding in that area, doing high visibility crime prevention and looking for ways to help further protect and make our retailers safe as well as those that shop there. So today, staff recommends that the City Council adopt the following resolution, accepting the BSCC Organized Retail Theft Prevention Grant Program funds, as well as adopt the following resolution authorizing the addition of one full-time position funded by the BSCC Organized Retail Theft Prevention Grant Program. And I will say that I'm extremely proud of the work that our team did at the city staff level, the PD. It was a great partnership. We certainly appreciate Chief Turcotte and City Manager Feeney's support in going after these grant funds, and we think this is going to be a great way for us to further enhance the safety that we want to show that we care about our community so much. Thank you.
Any questions from council?
I have one. So is the guy that's going to be hired, does he do any recovery of stolen objects? You know, does he ever recover, like say someone's bicycle is stolen from, or even from a store? Do they ever go to the You got pictures now of the bad guys from your cameras, you know who he is, and he's not gonna get prosecuted, but can you go to his house and just say, that's not your bike?
Well, we hope he will get prosecuted, and that's part of the partnership with the Sacramento County District Attorney's Office. But to answer your question, ma'am, I think the position you're referring to is a part-time detective position. So they'll work in conjunction with our existing mall
Do
officers.
detectives recover stolen property or not? No?
They do.
Oh, okay.
They do, but the front line is going to be our patrol officers and our impact detectives that are out there on the street.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, you know, thank you to the chief and you guys for this. You know, this stuff is killing businesses. It's absolutely killing businesses. And so this is the response that needs to happen. It's unfortunate that we have to spend dollars to do such a thing, but it's just reality. And I think it'll end up being that we'll see much more in either recovered assets or prevention along the way for our businesses, and that's critical. It doesn't take much if a business is right on the edge and somebody comes in and does a big grab and run, you know, kind of a thing. It could put them out of business. And so hopefully this tool, having this officer working together, we prevent those things and keep our businesses thriving. Thank you very much.
Jane? Portia? So just have a comment. I was in Fairfield, and I travel around quite a bit, and I was at a Safeway store in Fairfield, and I went through the store, and I was blown away at how many steel gates they have built in to the, bolted to the floors. Every cash register has a gate that has to be activated by the cash register. Really stunning that, and I asked the manager, I said, is this really necessary? And he said, we can close the store. That's our choices. We can put these measures in place, or we can close the store. So it'd really be a shame to see our businesses close because of this just out of control. And one other question, will any bait, I love the bait program where we plant things and apprehend thieves, especially during the holidays. That's really kind of a fun thing to read those reports, so.
Well, I'm glad you asked, Mayor. We do still have bait, and we will be using that throughout the holidays, so.
Well, that's good to know.
Consider that your fair warning.
Okay, so, do I have a motion?
I move that we adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Citrus Heights, California, accepting fiscal year 2023 organized retail theft prevention grant program funds.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Daniel, second by Jana Karpinski Costa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. All right, let's move on.
Wait a minute,
Actually-
wait a minute,
There's
hold
two
on.
of them.
You do. I move that we adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of Citrus Heights, California, authorizing the addition of one full-time position funded by the Organized Retail Theft Prevention Grant Program.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Daniel, second by Middleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes.
Thank you, council.
I think we're done now.
Maybe in a quarter or half a year from now, you can come and tell us how it's working. Okay.
Thank you. All right, next item, please.
The next item is public hearing number 10. The subject is 2023 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant funding. The recommendation is to adopt a resolution accepting the 2023 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in accordance with state requirements.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Chris Fry, Operations Commander with the Police Department, and this evening I'm here to present the 2023 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, otherwise known as the JAG Grant. Each year, the Bureau of Justice Assistance partners with the Bureau of Justice Statistics to allocate funding for each state, which is based on the state's violent crime and population size. The state's award amount is divided between the state and local governments at a rate of 60% and 40% respectively. Under this program, cities and counties receive federal funds to augment public safety expenditures. This is a non-competitive grant program, and there is no guarantee for funding or minimum allocations. The award funds from this grant must be used for law enforcement activities to include equipment needs. The police department was awarded $25,411 for the 2023 JAG grant, which must be expended by September 30th of 2026. Funding from the grant will be utilized to purchase 5 radios to replace outdated radios in our police vehicles. There are no matching fund requirements, and the purchases will be made in accordance with the city's adopted purchasing policies and procedures. The police department is requesting to strategically use grant funds to support the department's equipment and training initiatives. This request will support our goal to provide exceptional police services to the community and enhance officer safety. At this time, staff is recommending the council to adopt a resolution accepting the aforementioned recommended expenditures for the 2023 JAG grant. And with that, I'm willing to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from council? No? I don't have any. I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Are there any speakers on this item? Seeing none. I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Are there any additional questions or comments from council? None. So may I have a motion, please?
Move approval.
I have a movement by Middleton, second by Daniels. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item, please.
The next item is regular calendar, item number 14. The subject is red light camera program.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. My name is Mike Wells. I'm a lieutenant overseeing the traffic division. Tonight, we're going to be giving an overview of the red light camera program. This is pursuant to the City Council strategic planning objectives. This report provides an update on the program in Citrus Heights. This is an informational report, and no action is being requested. Here's a brief overview of the topics we'll be talking about. We have the red light program in general. We'll get a little bit more specific into the red light photos in Citrus Heights and also the red light program costs. First, let's start on why we're here and why we have the program. It's simple. Running red lights is dangerous and causes serious collisions. Over 1,100 people were killed in 2021 related to red light running. Almost half of those were pedestrians, bicyclists, and people in other cars. They were innocent people impacted by the red light violator. Of those red light runners involved in the fatal crashes, they were more likely to have been speeding or alcohol impaired. Additionally, a study found that cities that removed red light camera programs experienced 30% more red light collisions after the program was shut down. What is the red light program? The red light program system allows for cost-neutral, full-time monitoring of intersections that cannot be matched with physical officer presence. The goal of the program is to save lives by modifying behavior of drivers while allowing police officers to focus on other areas of traffic enforcement and life safety issues. The first camera program was implemented in 1992 in New York. During 2022, there were 337 U.S. communities that were operating the red light cameras. Regionally, the program is used by Sacramento County Sheriff, Sac PD, and Elk Grove, to name a few. I'm going to walk you through an example of a red light violation and explain how it works. When a light is red, a radar unit mounted overhead detects if a vehicle passes over a minimum threshold speed. If the vehicle is over the speed threshold, the system triggers a sequence of digital data and image recording. In this video, you'll see several vehicles passing through the intersection, some on green, some on yellow, and some on red. The final will be 2 of those vehicles do pass on the red. Please note, though, that only flashes will occur when the red light is on. That's because although the video camera is always running, the still cameras are linked only to the red signal phase and not active during green or yellow, meaning they only capture photos when the light is red. The video is actually 2 vehicles running the same red light, and I utilize this nighttime incident because it's easier for you to see the timing of the camera flashes. Okay, and I'm going to run that back again for you. As I mentioned, you can see that the camera system, the still camera, only operates and flashes when the light is red. You can see that vehicles have gone through during the green, they've gone through during the yellow. It's not until the 2 come through at the red that they begin flashing. So again, there's the yellow. We'll have 1 more yellow go through there. Again, no flashes were done because the system isn't operational because we're not in the red. And now we see our 2 violators. And then again, at the end, there's another vehicle that comes to the stop and no photo is taken. Next, we'll take a look at the same video, but with the photos. We'll start with the 4 pictures of the first vehicle. That's that SUV that was in the middle lane, the first one. As you can see in the first photo with the red arrows, the light is red and the vehicle has not passed the limit line. The remaining 3 photos show in order a photo of the rear license plate, an image of the driver, and a final image of the vehicle in the intersection on the red. Next, we'll take a look at that second vehicle. This is one on the outside. Same situation with 4 photos. The first photo shows the light is red and the vehicle has not crossed the limit line. Then a picture of the rear license plate, the driver, and a final picture of the vehicle entering the intersection during the red. So I just showed you what a violation looks like. Let's get into how the violation review works. First, the system determines that a red light violation may have occurred, like in the video we just saw. Redflex will then download these events and the review process begins. During the red light review process, the violation is reviewed a total of 3 times to confirm its accuracy. Twice by Redflex and then by a member of the police department, who will ultimately certify the violation. If the violation is certified, a citation is mailed to the violator and every citation recipient is provided with a link so they can review the video. Then they have the opportunity to appeal the citation in court or pay the fine. Now, I do want to make a mention that the fines associated with getting a citation via the red light program are no different than if you got a citation from a physical officer for running a red light. The fees for the red light violations are established and imposed by the courts. So this is specific to Citrus Heights in our history. In 2005, due to significant collisions, the city utilized consultants to review traffic safety. Some of the recommendations they made were modification of roadways, increased signal visibility, installation of new stop signs, and the installation of photo red light cameras at specified locations. Based on the consultants' recommendations and the high level of collisions occurring, the council approved the initial red light program contract in 2007, and those lights were, the cameras were installed and completed in 2008. Next is a slide which shows the collision data citywide from June 2006 to 2022. Now you can see in that first slide, or the first column, 2006, we only went into operation as of June, so we only had 6 months of data for that year. However, if you were to double that and assume we were consistent throughout the year, you would see that 2006 and 2007 were likely consistent. As you can see by the chart, beginning in 2008, there was a significant reduction of amount of traffic collisions citywide, which has remained relatively consistent through 2022. This is in large part because between 2007 and 2008, the department began to collaborate with city staff and implement some of those recommendations by the traffic consultants. That included roadway engineering, sign visibility, and starting the red light camera program. Now, although we understand the traffic collision reduction was because of all of the combined traffic efforts, we believe the red light camera program played a significant role in the reduction of those collisions. This slide is locations of our current red light camera deployment. They cover a total of 8 intersections throughout the city, and 2 of those intersections have 2 cameras. Those are highlighted with the black circles around them where there are 2 camera locations. That's Auburn and Greenback and Sunrise and Oak. As you can see, these cameras are placed on heavily traveled roadways and intersections where accidents tend to occur. And then to the side, you'll see the actual citations issued for 2022 at each of those locations. So I previously explained how the red light program works and how each event is vetted a total of 3 times before certification and notice is issued. This slide shows a breakdown of that process. In 2022, the system reviewed over 37,000 incidents. After the review, they sent a total of approximately 17,000 events to the police department for final review. Following our review, our staff members certified a total of approximately 13,000 notices of the violations. Our goal with traffic enforcement is ensuring the safety of residents and motorists in Citrus Heights. We do experience a large number of commuters from out of the area who utilize our roadways. This data shows the amount of non-Citrus Heights residents who are committing violations on our roadways versus Citrus Heights residents. In 2022, the proportion of violations by non-residents to residents was significant. This data is consistent yearly of the non-resident to Citrus Heights residents who receive red light citations. Next, I'll cover the cost of the red light program. This is the anticipated budget and revenue for the fiscal year 23 and 24. The Red Flex contract is a fixed dollar amount for each camera system. The cost has no bearing on the number of tickets issued. The city will never be out of pocket for the program. The program is contracted to be cost neutral regardless of revenue generated. This is last year's actual fiscal budget, the 22-23 cycle. As you can see, the net revenue generated was $158,000. This revenue was larger than anticipated because the department wasn't billed the full amount for the Red Flex contract, which would have been $492,000. Instead, we were billed $395,000, as you can see on the chart, which is around a $100,000 difference. This was because during the year, Red Flex experienced delays and supply chain issues in getting some of the equipment needed to update our camera systems. So while the cameras were inoperable, Red Flex provided credits to the city. The additional revenue gained was because of lower than anticipated personnel costs. If you look at the history of the program to determine average revenue, over the last 5 years, we have averaged about $78,000 yearly in net revenue. And any revenue that is generated from the program goes into the general fund. That concludes my red light camera presentation, but I did want to take a moment to recognize our current traffic team. We have a dedicated group of motor officers in the field, our CSOs who handle the red light camera program, and our team of volunteers that work on parking violations and abandoned vehicles. This hardworking traffic team is committed to keeping the streets of Citrus Heights safe, and I wanted to thank them publicly for all their hard work. And that concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Questions from council? Yes.
I have one. Do you have any numbers of how many of those red light violations are right turns versus straight on?
I do not have the specifics between the straightaway and the red light, straightaway violations versus the right-hand turn violations, sorry.
Do you have any kind of idea of what the breakdown might be approximately?
I don't, wouldn't be able to guess.
Okay, I have a question. You said in 2022, there were 37,000 incidents.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine you mean red light blinking, something happened.
Well, we'll get the incident and it gets reviewed by Red Flex. Some of those incidents can get, they review them and see it wasn't a violation, or they can see that there's something obstructing the windshield where we can't see the driver. It could be rain on the windshield, tint or something of that matter where we can't observe the driver and make the determination of who was behind the wheel.
Okay, and then I think that number broke down to, I think, a little bit less than half were processed forward or something like that.
Correct.
So when you say it's, something else might happen, you mean the system might be malfunctioning for one reason or another or something like that?
It's generally based on the fact that they're screening out those that they can't, get in the obscure driver and things of that nature.
Okay. And then, obviously, a lot of people are still running red lights. Here we are, 15 years or whatever into the program. Everybody knows, the signs are out there, they're everywhere. And yet, we had 37,000 incidents last year. By some grace of God, we don't have a ton of people dead from those incidents. And so, is there anything going on in the profession or that is looking for a better way maybe to stop people from running red lights, to prevent people from running red lights?
I think it just goes back to, again, our goal is to modify the driver behavior. And we do that not only with these types of programs, but we try to do high visibility, whether it's the signage on the roadway that we have out there, letting them know in Citrus Heights we do have these technologies, as well as we have a campaign that we utilize in our social media where we do our close calls and things like that, where we have the videos where the near collisions happen. So we try to really get out there in advance and warn people to improve their driving behavior. But again, we can't be at every intersection all the time. So between our social media and just being out there as visible as possible, that's the best way we believe we can combat it.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, as somebody who has run a red light before unintentionally, it's the oh crap reaction. And I have to hope that a good chunk of these fall into that, and they weren't deliberate necessarily. They're just, for whatever reason, zoned out at a light. And so, is there no technology that you're seeing coming forward that might move towards, again, alerting people that they're coming up to a red light? Again, we've got the technology that says, here comes a car, it's past a minimum speed, so we're going to start our radar, and so we can start our camera, our video camera, in case it does run the light, so we can get a great picture of it. Well, it sounds to me like we could also say, here comes a car at a minimum speed, and is there something we can do before they hit the intersection? So any technology or anything like that going on?
I'm not familiar with any technology, and I don't know how we could advise the person that they're potentially going to be running a red light. I could potentially see other issues that could arise from that, whether that be somehow flashing something at them where now it distracts them and now we have another
Well,
situation.
and I agree with that totally, but the flash also distracts people when they're getting that.
Yeah, right.
ticket, and it distracts everybody around in the, I mean, Greenback and Auburn, it's hard to get through Greenback and Auburn at night without the flash going off somewhere.
Right.
And it's very distracting. And so that's my whole point, is that we have this system in place. It hopefully helps, and it probably does, but we still see this behavior. And so why does that happen? And then why aren't we then 15 years down the road of technology looking for another way that says we have this behavior and let's see if we can actually prevent it from happening, you know? And, you know, I don't understand why we would then not use a flash of vehicles coming towards the light when we also use a flash now of somebody else turning on the opposite side of the intersection, and it doesn't involve me, but, you know, the blinking lights are gonna be going all over the place. So, I don't know, I'm kind of bewildered by that, and it just, it's unfortunate because, number one, the person still commits the violation. It doesn't stop the violation, it just means here comes the big ticket, and the big ticket, because of this setup, and I think it is proper that the city doesn't benefit from it in that sense, the money goes out, it goes away. This money goes to a company and not even a company in California, I believe. And so those dollars are leaving us, and that's a big deal, because these tickets are big. These aren't $100 tickets. And
The
so,
revenue that's generated or comes out of the ticket, that's through the courts. So that's the fixed costs associated with the fines and the penalties. That doesn't go towards the actual Red Flex system. We have a monthly fee that we pay per camera, and it's irrelevant, the number of violations that occur at each intersection. So it's just a fixed dollar amount per camera, and the revenue from the actual ticket does not go towards that.
but we use that money, right? We should pay
Correct.
that contract, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Again, if you don't know of anything out there, then I guess it's just not happening. But, and I don't know if that's something we could even contemplate doing on a local level, probably not. But it would certainly seem that it would be better to prevent the running of the red light. And here comes the esteemed chief, because he has all the answers.
I have some answers.
Yes.
Some of the technology that they're looking for correcting driver behavior is a little distance off, but a lot of the technology that's going behind driverless cars or cars communicating through technology or hive brains of cars, that's where the technology is going to try to prevent these type of things. Unfortunately, with a human operator who's already ignoring the bright red light and who's over a minimum threshold, if you were to rest that car's momentum at that threshold, you're probably gonna create a whole separate issue as far as the whiplash and things. Now, obviously, a collision is worse than that, but when you talk to technology, although it might seem way far out, that is what they're working on, is if the cars could communicate to each other and the car can be aware of what's going on when the human isn't, that's some of the technology that they're doing, but it's still a little while off before it'll be locally implemented, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Well, any other questions? No? Okay, so if you scroll back, I will have a comment about the future technology, but you scroll back to where, when the red light camera was first implemented back in 2006, and this slide right here. This slide tells a lot. There's a big story here. So we can see where the behavior changed in 2007, but once it got to 2011, there's really not much change in behavior. People are still, so I don't know, I struggle to say that this is an effective program if it's not changing people's behavior. If we see year after year, year over year, the same number of violations, it's not changing anything. All we're doing is, okay, there's a penalty. I see in 2020, and that was probably due to the fact that there were many fewer people off on the roads at that time. But this is a slide tells a story of, look, this is, while this program's still in place, it's really not doing very much to affect people's behavior. So the other piece that I will say, I think the technology's probably coming sooner than later, where the red lights can communicate with the vehicles, and it says, okay, this red light has X amount of time left on it. The car has a receiver that says, look, when you approach that red light, when you approach that light, it's gonna be red. So the car will know. Now, the human can still override that, but nonetheless, I think that technology is not very far away. I think we're not very far from that particular technology, especially when it's talking about automated. This is one of the things that I have an electric car, I had a Tesla before this, we use the autopilot a lot. I think that technology, while we still have there's still some trust issues that we have to establish with that. I think that's the future is, this whole thing there's gonna be all kinds of alarms that'll alarm you that, hey, you're 500 feet from the next intersection, that light's gonna be red by the time you arrive there. Probably not, it's probably safer to slow it down, so. And certainly the concern is, these numbers, I was on council in 2021, these numbers are different than the numbers. And I'm not saying that it's just the way the numbers are being presented is different than they were in 2021. The gross dollars that was about 3 million, I think, is somewhere in there. I'm talking about that's the gross of all of the fines levied by the courts. And our revenue back from those, it's stuck in my mind, our revenue back from 2021 of the $3 million in the gross fines, we were getting about $103,000 of that. So again, to me, it just feels like we're enriching a private company because Redflex essentially gets about half of with all the revenue generated by the red light cameras. So I'm kind of like, well, we're putting and again, if I could see a decline over a period of time, a decline in the number of violations that shows that, hey, the behavior is changing, well, I would support this 100%. But I just see a flat, it's really not changing anything. It's hard to say that, I'd like to see so I see you show injury, and the fatal I see the fatal at the bottom now, sorry. But and again, not one live loss is too many. I wouldn't, I don't want to see people die to this, but again, I just don't see much change in the behavior.
Yeah, obviously, our goal would be to have zero. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. But you can see, though, between 2006, 7, and we went into 8, we significantly dropped. And that was when we did implement many of these programs. That was, as we call it, the 3 E's, the education, the engineering, and the enforcement. And you can see we significantly reduced that. Now, we're always going to obviously have our violators, and that's kind of our baseline. The fear is if we don't have this program, will we spike back up potentially?
Yeah, I understand Roseville did away with them.
Correct.
And did they see a big jump in fatalities and accidents, and was there a big change in the behavior there?
I don't know. I do know they got rid of their system, but I don't know the outcome.
So the other question I had back in 2021, I did ask how many right-hand turn was on a red, and I said, oh, we'll get back to you on that, and that was the last thing I heard about what percentage of those. And this is nothing related to this, but my wife did get this is, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, she got a right-hand turn on a red at Park Oaks, and it was, it was a right-hand turn on a red, and I don't think anybody was particularly at risk there, so. Jane has a question.
Yeah, go.
So Jane?
So just a quick question. Are we thinking of potentially adding different locations or moving locations around? What's the future of the program?
There is no plan on any changes. We're currently contracted through 2026.
Gotcha.
So this is just the current program and an update on it. There was no ask for anything this evening.
Okay, thank you.
Brett?
Oh, go back to the chart again, whoever's got.
The collision data?
Yeah.
Sir.
So those numbers, I just wanted to know, was curious, on the yellow lines, are those injury accidents at intersections with red lights, or is that the entire city?
This is citywide collision data.
Oh,
So we don't know if okay, well, we really can't then say that the red light or no red light or whatever is a contributing factor to those accidents.
true.
Correct, but what the goal is, again, whether it's the signage as people are driving down Greenback and they see that there is red light enforcement, if they may see it at Sunrise and Greenback, they're unaware that it maybe doesn't exist at the next intersection or so on. that can somewhat improve the driver's behavior, hopefully, understanding it's out there and potentially slow them down and make them drive safer.
How about we put them on all intersections and just have those lights blink every time? Have that same effect. And then just the last question on the 2006 to 2007 jump. I mean, I see an asterisk there, but there's a huge jump on the injury accident area. Anything that accounted to that, for that?
Which years are you speaking of?
From 2006, the very first line is 224 to 389 is huge.
Well, again, we only have 6 months of data there, so if you doubled that, because remember, we started the agency in June of that year. So if you.
Oh, your
doubled-
6-month data is for 2006.
Correct. So if you were to double that, you would basically, assuming it was consistent, that's what you would have.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I do have one comment, and anybody that's been at San Juan and Greenback Lane, that left-hand turn, that flashes a lot. I mean, you can be there for one cycle and it'll flash 15 times, even when no one is going through the intersection.
Well, again, sometimes that's based on the threshold. So there's speed thresholds that are set up at those intersections. So the radar overhead, if it goes to red and it anticipates the car is going over a certain speed, it'll start taking those still photos, but that's when that review process kicks in with Red Flex. They review it twice and we review it once. So
Yeah, but I've been
often,
in the stopped red left-hand turn lane, because that's the only approach in that particular intersection. Yet when other cars are moving in the intersection, that it seems to trigger the cameras.
yeah, if they're coming in at a
Seem to
speed, I
trigger
believe it's
the flash.
15 miles an hour, if they're going over 15 miles an hour, that triggers the radar system to start going, hey, we may have a potential violation here, and it'll snap those photos. And then again, that's where that review process vets those things out.
All right, thank you very much for your.
I thought of another question.
One more question.
Do we have to send our police, if someone fights a ticket, do we have to send someone to court?
Yes, so we have our CSOs. We have a full-time and a part-time CSO that run our red light program, and they testify at traffic court. These days, they actually get to do it via Zoom, but yeah, they do the testifying for us.
Okay, so my next question is, so you take a picture of the driver,
Mm-hmm.
and then you send a ticket to the registered owner?
Correct.
So my car is registered to me. If my husband is driving it and you take his picture, will I get a ticket for him driving?
No, so that was where some of the vetting out process again goes. So if we take the photo and the registered owner is clearly not who is driving the vehicle, that'll get vetted out, and they will just send a notification. It's not a citation, but saying,
Somebody in your,
someone in your vehicle ran the red light here. But
Okay.
a citation will not be issued if we can't match the registered owner as that driver.
well, I'd sure be interested to know how many are red turns, because all you have to do is creep over the the crosswalk, and you get a ticket. If you arrive there at a speed where you haven't stopped yet, but then you stop, especially as you turn right from San Juan onto Greenback, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lanes of traffic and the Donut King, and you can't see what's over there, so you pull up to see, and you go,
Yeah, and again, those are how those are
Smile.
vetted. Those are vetted out, so if you stop at the limit line and then creep forward, obviously, that would get thrown out by either Red Flex
okay,
or the
good.
officer. So again, they're looking to see if the violation occurs. Now, with the red light turns, the right turns, I understand the concern there, but the big issue is when the right turns, well, let me back up. Straight ahead through the intersection are generally a broadside collision, and those are very dangerous. We understand that. The right turns, where the danger lies, is we have pedestrians and bicyclists in those bike lanes, or in those
people
those
usually
lanes.
look, but I mean, the ticket was being, the light goes off just as you barely even turn, you don't even turned.
Right,
Still
again, the
going
system
straight ahead.
anticipates whether there's gonna be a violation based on the thresholds, and again, that gets vetted out through the program. So oftentimes, those tickets, you see the flashes, you'll receive nothing later on down the road, because the people that review it will understand that that wasn't a violation.
And Councilmember Daniels brought up a great point about your graph, is that it only shows the violations throughout the city. We have a lot of intersections, and I don't think that really shows the effect of the cameras at all.
Yeah, the point what we try to make is, again, through our social media campaigns, and then
More
again, just
likely.
with the signage out there, we hope that these red lights, we can't put them at every intersection, but people understanding that they are throughout the city, we hope it improves their behavior and
Some of
potentially.
these injuries are people who violate stop signs and not red lights.
Correct.
Okay, so any other questions? All right, very good. Let's
And
move on to the
Mayor,
next-
I believe we did have a public comment speaker
Oh,
on
that's
this
right,
item.
we did have a public comment. Can I ask Kathy Morris to come to the podium, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me. And my question is not maybe it isn't quite as appropriate because it isn't necessarily about red light. It's more about cameras. One of my specific concerns is the Old Auburn and Fair Oaks Boulevard intersection. Has been a number of accidents there, and then I'm not entirely sure they're red light violations, but I'm entirely sure that the license number was not captured, and the car went around the barrier into the backyard. And I'm wondering, is this true, that it's only on specific angles on a red light violation that the information is captured, and for other accidents, they just get away?
So we have the camera system at 8 intersections with total of.
Sorry, sir?
We have the camera system at 8 intersections throughout the city, and they capture a total of 10 approaches, as we call them. So those would be the only areas that we would actually get photos of the license plates if a violation were to have occurred.
So you do get videos, but not necessarily the license plate?
At the intersections where the cameras are, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Is the Auburn, Fair Oaks Boulevard a red light approach there?
I'll bring the slide back up. I don't believe so. No.
If there's one intersection where it probably should be, it would be that one. I think it's up to 40-something times that we've seen those barriers destroyed. I know that that's, I know that that is it's a little bit of a sore topic, so I'll move on. All right, thank you very much for your presentation, really appreciate it. All right, next item, please.
Next item is department reports, and there are none. The next item is city manager items.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Ashley Feeney, your city manager. I got a few updates here. If we can go to the next slide. Veterans Day, definitely a great day to honor our veterans that have served our country. We have a number of ways to honor them here in Citrus Heights. As was mentioned at some of the council comments at the outset, the American Legion will be hosting their Sylvan Cemetery ceremony. It says 11 here, and that's what's publicized, but I know the council's in the know, 10:45. You want to be there at 10:45 because sometimes they start a little early. And so that's a great ceremony to attend. And then we will have the Citrus Heights Veteran Community Center in the old Sylvan Schoolhouse at Sylvan. They'll start at noon, and it's going to be some music performances. There'll be a color guard ceremony, and then there's going to be flag retirement ceremony. City Hall will be closed tomorrow, November 10th, in observance of Veterans Day. So hopefully see community turnout at some of these great events. One of the things, too, that Director Kempenaar wanted to highlight here, and I know this is near and dear to his heart, is we have some fee waivers that are available for our veterans, and we want to make sure that they know about that. We've been getting the word out. I believe he's also been working with our communications team on some social media posts here, too. But there's fee waivers that are provided for business license fees, and then there's also permit and plan review fees that can be waived for home improvement projects of a disabled military veteran where a building permit's required. So I don't think a lot of people have knowledge of that. It's something he's been working with his team to get the word out on. Perfect. Well, that's with these updates, we hope to provide that. So I think that's one I commend him and his department for getting the word out on. A couple new team members. With the retirement of Christopher Myers, who served the city, very admirably for so many years. We have some reorganizations that occurred as part of the budget process, and we have a new facilities and fleet supervisor in the General Services Department, Mr. Brandon Pinnell. He has started. And we also have Jessica Andrews, who I believe started on Monday, and she's going to serve as our Events and Community Center Supervisor for General Services Department. Mr. Pinnell comes from Regional Transit, where he managed a very large fleet and has a terrific project management background. Ms. Andrews comes from Folsom, where she's had a number of different positions, including with the Folsom Chamber, and has been responsible for a number of different events, inclusive of the Folsom Rodeo. So we're very excited about having both of these team members join our team. Some great hires that we're excited to see them help with leading both those efforts. This is a certificate of appreciation. One of our building inspectors has been very involved in Sabo, and that is the Sacramento Valley Association of Building Officials. And this is a certificate of appreciation for City of Citrus Heights for our participation in that program. For this particular certificate, there was a local person in need of a roof, and Savo provided the opportunity to get that house re-roofed here in Citrus Heights. We participated in some of the fee waivers associated with that, and they appreciated what we did there, so sharing that out. November 23rd, we are gonna not have a city council meeting because of the Thanksgiving holiday. Unless council's really excited about sharing some turkey out there. But we will have our next city council meeting occurring on December 14th. We do have some terrific holiday events coming up here. We have our holiday tree lighting, which will occur on December 6th. And that is here at City Hall. We've got our tree out front. It was a terrific event last year, very well attended. That'll run from 6 to 8:30. I believe someone from up north may make an appearance on that. Cookies, train rides, all kinds of fun. So turn on out. And then Shop with a Cop. This is another terrific event that'll follow the very next day after the tree lighting. That's Thursday, December 7th at 8:30 a.m. It'll be held at Target. There's participants that are nominated by their school, and 25 students are selected, and each one's given a $100 certificate to Shop with a Cop. So that's a fun event. I've attended that last year and saw a lot of joy on a lot of faces there. That's a great way to build relationships too. And that concludes my updates.
Great. All right, may I have the next item, please?
The next item is items requested by council members or future agenda items.
Right. All right, next item, please.
And there are no further items.
There are no further items, so it's my pleasure to adjourn my last full council meeting on, that will be on, well, that was tonight, but the next one will be electing a new mayor. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you. I get to sign.